guys, welcome back to the Inshore Journal. This is Captain Randy Clark, and today we're sight fishing for redfish. There's nothing better than buzzing through the marsh and getting to your favorite pond or area you like to fish, and then finding a good day to fish like we're going to have today. We've got bluebird skies. There's hardly any wind in the air. The water is clear and clean. It's just one of those dream days as a sight fisherman. So what we're going to be using today are my favorite baits, which are category 5 outdoor soft plastics. We're going to be using suicide croakers and manic minnows. I used the shrimp minnows as well, but today we're just going to cover those two and show you how to present them to redfish in the skinny water. Right now I'm pitching a bait to a redfish. You're going to see him strike, and you can tell how clear this water is. Normally on the East Coast you wouldn't pitch that close to a fish, but I'm fishing in the Gulf, and fish are a little more aggressive when you can get off the beaten path and find some areas that people aren't fishing. This is how fish are supposed to eat. But I'm rigging this category 5 soft plastic. This is a suicide croaker on a swim bait hook. That's a Trocar swim bait hook and a 3/0. That's the easiest way to rig these things weedless on a weighted hook. That's an 1/8 of an ounce weighted hook I'm using. I do use some weedless jig heads as well, but today in this video we're going to be showing you some skinny water fishing, and most of these fish are going to be caught on weedless hooks and very light weedless hooks. Some will be weightless because I'm fishing very skinny water like this particular area here. This is a shallow water pond with some hydrilla. You can see I pitched another suicide croaker to a fish in this grass. He was just moving through this hydrilla very slowly looking for food, and he couldn't resist that suicide croaker. Those things look so lifelike on these weighted hooks. It's very hard to get a bait that has good action on light hooks. Anything looks good on a jig head, but it takes a special bait to look good on a weightless hook, especially a 3/0, something small, a smaller presentation, 3 to 4 inch bait. This particular bait is 3.5 inches, and I use a lot of 3-inch baits as well. The manic minnows are 3 inches, but they're just a perfect size. They go through the grass really well with these weedless hooks. You get very little grass or any kind of trash on the hook when you're presenting these baits, which is key, in tournament fishing. You don't want any rejections. If you got a little bit of grass on the hook, that could make a difference in that fish looking at that bait and turning off of it or inhaling it. But as you can see, that's a tiger bait. I said that was a 3.5 inch bait. That's a 4-inch bait, and perfect size in the marsh in the summertime and the warmer weather months. I like to use the 3.5 inch baits and the 3-inch baits in the wintertime. Gives it a little bit smaller presentation to match the bait that's in the area in the wintertime. Right here I'm showing you one of those 3-inch baits. This is the 3-inch category 5 suicide croaker in the Widowmaker color. It's white. It's one of my favorite baits. White works good in clean water, stained water, dirty water, dark water. It's just a good bait in any water condition. It's one of those colors that's a confidence bait for me, and I know a lot of other people like to use white. A lot of the bass guys like to use it when the bite's tough. This fish was sitting in crystal clear water. His back was just barely covered by water. He was crawling up on the bank further down the shoreline coming at me, and I just waited him out, and he came right to the boat, and I pitched this bait to him, and he ate it. He inhaled it. That's one thing about these category 5 soft plastics. There's a lot of people throwing a lot of the same things, and these baits are different than any other bait on the market. They're shaped differently, and they have a different wiggle in the water. They're incredible baits. This particular fish I'm about to cast to, there's 2 fish. One's a bass, and he's about to hit it right now, a little largemouth. And that's the cool thing about these baits. These baits will work on flounder, redfish, trout. I've caught sheepshead on them. black drum, hit them, largemouth bass. You never know what you're going to catch. Obviously I'm red fishing and I'm just playing here in this video. I'm about to throw, as you just saw. There's no editing. That bass was right behind that redfish, so I threw back in there and caught the redfish. These fish will hit this bait better than anything I've ever seen on the market. This particular color here is deadly in a lot of areas in my region, in the Cape Fear area. This is a category 5 manic minnow. It's black with a chartreuse tail. Just a great all-around bait. Just want to thank all my sponsors for their continued support, and we'll see you next time, guys.